This moment right here is the greatest moment in Giulia Miserendino's career so far.
Oh,
beautiful
my
lift.
word.
That is
Incredible.
Just 27 months after she had snatched 100 kilos, 220 pounds in competition for the first time, she made this, stealing the show with a 110 kilo, 242 pound snatch at the World Championships. A weight that
Really separates, the top 71s in the world.
the competitors from the potential medalists. This moment was the culmination of a career of hard work, a monumental goal achieved.
You have to imagine that is a weight that she's been dreaming of for years, 110 kilos.
But the elation Giulia felt having made this lift was fueled by an additional motivation too.
Just too heavy today.
To grasp why, you need to understand that the 71 kilo category in which she competes is made up of absolute savages, in part because it's an Olympic category, but also because it's probably the most crowded of all categories. Join me now as we review a training session from 5 months after this championship lift, where we'll unravel the why behind Giulia's record-setting achievement. And also, please do subscribe to the channel. For Giulia to reach her goal of competing in the Olympics next summer, she'll need to battle it out with the 71 kilo savages I just mentioned. Lifters like Liao Guifang, Engie de Homez, Loredana Toma, Kate Vibert, over and over, and rank in the top 10 in the world. But these athletes that I've mentioned all have something in common that Miserendino doesn't have: a big clean and jerk. Sure, there are levels to it. Some of them are making in the high 130s, others the 140s, and one even in the 150s. But Giulia is a low to mid 120s clean and jerker at best. And this is where Giulia's conundrum comes from, and why her elation after making the 110 kilo snatch is so great. Giulia has a really impressive snatch, but her clean and jerk numbers are relatively low. To make the top 10 in the world, she will need a total in the low 230s. And the good news is that's exactly what she's done. In Bogota at the World Championships, where she made that 110 kilo snatch, she also managed a personal best of 123 kilos in the clean and jerk, so she snatches 89.5% of her clean and jerk, which is just extraordinary. The separation between these athletes really does lie in the clean and jerk. But even in the snatch, the lift in which Giulia ranks highest, the world record keeps getting beaten. It just goes to show how competitive this category is. Romania's Loredana Toma made 119 kilos.
And that might be the best of all three lifts. She's got it, a new
5 months later, and China's Liao Guifang made 120 kilos.
Oh my word. And I tell you what, I think she made that look a little bit nicer than Loredana made 119.
And just 2 weeks ago, Engie de Homez beat it again with 121 kilos. In the total, Giulia currently sits in 9th in the world. Remember, the top 10 will go to the Olympics next summer. But to put it into perspective, the highest total thus far in this category is 268 kilos, 35 more than Giulia. So she's in, but not by a lot. And that World Championships, where she made the 110 kilos, was the first opportunity athletes had to put in an official ranking total for the upcoming Olympics. So it was no wonder that after the perfect scenario snatch, a personal record 110 kilos, she burst into tears. It was happening, a perfect performance. Just to let you all know, the Weightlifting House summer sale starts today and runs for 1 week. If you want the accessories, clothing and equipment that supply the best weightlifters in the world, then head to weightliftinghouse.com and get up to 25% off across the whole store. The link's below. When you choose Weightlifting House, you choose weightlifting. Back to the episode. While Giulia is in the top 10, it's not a feeling of having to chase the other top athletes that she now has. It's one of running away from those behind her. The real issue she now faces is that 9th in the world isn't particularly safe. She's got Pham Thi Tan, Sarah Davies, Marie Schweitzer, among others, all looking to hunt her down and take her spot in the top 10. So what does she do? Ever since competing at the World Championships, where she made that 233 kilo total, she has tried to beat it, often at the expense of where she places in that specific competition. She's not even necessarily worried about gold, silver, bronze as much as she is a 234 kilo total, or 235 kilos, or anything that makes it more difficult for the chasers to overtake her. She probably can't even move up to 8th in the world, because that total is 239 kilos, 6 kilos above her, but she can defend her spot ever so slightly more with a better total. What you're watching now, what we've been watching, is Giulia Miserendino training at the European Championships in 2023, her first competition since her 233 kilo total from the December prior. She builds up in the snatch to 100 kilos, actually missing 105 kilos, which is impressive because days later in competition, she made 105 kilos with stunning depth.
Oh, beautiful
She's not miss it this time.
Yeah.
Wow, her foot, even as she stood up there, I think her right foot started sliding out.
Yeah.
She just accesses a couple of inches of depth that these other athletes can't reach.
She had once again set herself up for a big snatch, affording herself the opportunity to potentially beat her 233 kilo total from Worlds. But she missed her third attempt at 110 kilos.
Oh,
Yeah.
she pulled it almost maybe a little bit faster than previous attempts.
Didn't have the height though.
No.
So what is there to do? Well, hit 125 kilos, a personal best, in order to get a total and a medal.
It's a huge opening attempt for Miserendino here, 125.
New personal best on the competition platform by 2 kilos.
Wow,
That's
very
a
strong.
great clean. Wow.
That looked casual.
Yeah, that looks
almost.
very casual. She's happy with that. And
She's-
that was
And then go for the numbers that she needs to move ahead of her 233 kilo total. It would require a huge personal best in the lift. She went for 130 kilos, a weight which would have given her 235 kilos in the total, up 2 kilos from her best, 2 kilos safer from the mass of chasing athletes looking to take her spot in the top 10.
just too heavy today. But 230 kilos is a personal best in the total for her.
With her snatch so dominant, it's no wonder she's putting in as much work as she is into her leg strength to help with her clean and jerk. Positionally, she's very good, but in standing up her cleans, she struggles. Speed drops and positions are lost. Compared to even some of those chasing athletes, she outsnatches them by almost 10 kilos, but lifts slightly less than them in the clean and jerk, netting out just a bit positive. In these 2 days of training that I filmed of her and the rest of her team, she front squatted, not necessarily heavy, but more so for speed, trying to move what is roughly her maximum clean as fast as possible. She snatched heavy, snatched again, and clean and jerked up to 120 kilos. But ultimately, I think what is interesting is that this new method of qualifying for the Olympics has changed the way our sport plays out. All competitions that are not the Olympics have almost seemed to lose their individual importance, and they now act as a stepping stone, an opportunity for something much greater. Athletes within this category and others are battling in the larger war for placement across an 18-month period, rather than placement in the competition at hand. Fortunately, the best of the best aren't necessarily getting swept up in this top 10 battle because they have no fears of being overtaken. But for those between, say, 15th and 7th in the world, it's all about load it up and give it your best shot. If you don't make that total, that 234 kilo total to beat a lifter like Giulia Miserendino, then you pack up, you go on to the next meet, and you try it again. At the upcoming World Championships in September, Giulia Miserendino will need, as always, an enormous snatch, and then do everything she can to improve her clean and jerk numbers. Just a few weeks ago in Cuba, she made 109 kilos in the snatch, but missed all of her clean and jerks. She probably won't ever be someone who clean and jerks in the 140s, and potentially ever in the 130s, but if she can manage to snatch 110 kilos and move into the high 120s, well, she may just be safe from the chasing pack. Head to the Weightlifting House summer sale now at weightliftinghouse.com. The link's below.